record, I think, in two. Okay. I think it's going to record in 2 sessions then. Okay. We're back. It has been a challenging week for me technology-wise. So thank you all. Thank you all for your patience. So what I was asking you was around, if you are single, do you have fears around being able to maintain your own self-care, your own personal time, your own personal space when you get into a relationship? So is there anxiety? Is there worry about really being able to not lose yourself and not lose what's important to you? So I want you to just check in with yourself around that. And then if you're currently in a relationship, do you have the experience of not being able to do what you want to do, not being able to be anchored in yourself, not being able to take time for yourself? And if that's the case for you, I want you to take a deeper dig around, is it real? Is it coming from the outside or is it coming from the inside? Is it something that someone else is actually imposing on you, or is it something that you are imposing on yourself out of people pleasing, not wanting to rock the boat, not wanting conflict, the knee-jerk yes around all the boundary setting or non-boundary setting in your life? So let's see. Okay, so yes, anxiety for sure. And Kelly's saying it feels like everyone wants to test drive a friendship while friending multiple women. Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's like a dating kind of thing. Okay. Julie, yes. So you feel like, yes, you won't be able to hold on to it. Griselle, definitely. I don't know how not to lose myself. I tend to move my schedule around the other person if I like them. Marty, I'm currently closed for a relationship and it feels good now to know that. Great. Kelly, the casual sex or casualness of relationships in the single world is hard to understand. And Teresa saying that, feeling like it's out of obligation to acquiesce or to give up personal space and time. Leilani, good. In a new relationship, I currently take time for me. He works a lot. Aradhana, yes, doing things for myself makes me feel guilty, I think that says. It's not my partner who challenges me. It's because of how my family has been with me. So here's something I want to say, and it's a really important point I want to make. That guilt is an indicator that you are taking good care of yourself. Guilt is an indicator that you're taking good care, that you're honoring yourself. So, Ornella, it's always me putting it on myself. No one pressures me. It's all me. So I would imagine that in most cases, that is the case, that we're the ones putting it on ourselves. Rini, Kelly, my sister does a lot of online dating and she experiences that a lot. I would imagine what you were saying, talking to one of the others. Kelly, that's who you were saying it to. Gotcha. Teresa, Shweta, it's me who is not making myself a priority. I do it out of obligation to say yes. I have a hard time saying no. Exactly. So the hard time saying no is something I want to actually give you an assignment around. When a direct request comes your way, okay. Let me try one thing. All right. Rini, can you just tell me if I'm unfrozen?
Now you are.
I'm unfrozen.
We have you now at this moment.
Okay, so I just went to my hotspot instead of my internet because my internet went out yesterday. Maybe something's still going funky with it. I don't know. All right. Let's try this. Okay, much better again. Okay, good. I'm just going to take a moment for myself here. Because this has been a challenging time, and I'm just going to take a breath. Okay. I love you all too. You guys are so cute. You guys are so sweet. Ah, you guys are the best. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Do you think I still should shut off the video reading, or should I let this go for a bit? You tell me. Okay, perfect. You let me know. So I cannot see you but hear you clearly. Okay, you look fabulous and you're right on. You guys are hilarious. All is well. Pat is giving me my Louise's best affirmation. All is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come. I am safe. I love it. Yes. Okay, Julie. For me, after lots of change and introspection, it's not me people pleasing, but I seem to have a deep-seated belief that my needs come after everyone else's. Thank you for saying that, because that is what starts to happen. When we disown our needs, we will orchestrate scenarios that are going to corroborate our belief that our needs come last. And so what happens is we let everybody else have what they need. We make sure everybody else has what they need. And then we take the scraps if we even at all get anything. So before we were cutting out, I was saying to you that I have a little assignment for you. So if you're willing to accept that when a direct request comes to you, if you're ready to say no, say no. If you're not ready to say no, you're going to let the other person know that you're going to take some time before you get back to them. This is how you start weaning yourself off the automatic knee-jerk yes. Because what happens is we say yes out of obligation. We say yes because we don't want someone else to be disappointed. We don't want someone else to be angry. We also say yes out of righteousness. We say yes out of being superwoman. We say yes because we think we're the one and the only one who can do anything, because we want the approval and the accolades and the validation, because we're chasing the gold stars. So saying no is a critical aspect here around doing love differently. Being willing to stand in your no. And here's the thing. You have to free your no in order to find your yes. You have to free your no in order to find your yes. So your no is what's going to allow you to be in love without losing yourself. Because every no you say to someone else is a yes to you. So an external no is an internal yes. And this is at the heart of boundary setting. Boundary setting is freedom. Boundary setting is freeing your yes and saying yes to you. So if you can say no out of the gate, say no. If not, let them know, I'll let you know tomorrow. I'm going to sleep on it. I'm going to take a little time to think about it. You're not asking their permission. It's not, can I let you know tomorrow? It's, I will let you know tomorrow. it's a really small distinction, but I want you to hear me. We are so used to asking everyone else for permission. And I want to empower you to give yourself permission. Permission to take the time that you need. Permission to put yourself first. Permission to make yourself a priority. So Ornella's saying, that sounds so good. No is coming a little easier, but it takes practice. It absolutely does. And Lauren is saying, my no to my husband was to request he start making his own lunches or buying them instead of me jumping out of bed in a panic to make for him. Absolutely gorgeous. That's a great one. It's a great example. So part of it is really first connecting to what's my desire here? What's my desire? Because if saying yes is anything but a desire of yours, it's a no. So Aradhana is saying, when I say no, my family stops talking to me. What do I do? They stop talking to you because you're changing the rules of engagement. So what's been happening up till now is you've been enabling them to behave a certain way and be with you in a certain way. So when you start changing, it's going to begin to shift the dynamic. And what it begins to do is have them perhaps go into a place where they may not like what's happening. But here's the thing, it's not your responsibility to be in charge of how they respond to you and your truth. So you telling the truth is what's your responsibility. How they respond or react is not. So again, if someone doesn't like what you're telling them, it's not your role to fix it. It's not your role to make everything be okay. It's simply your responsibility to stay true to you. That's how the relationships are going to change. That's how relationships are going to get healthy. Because the bottom line is, in relationships, we have differences. And this is actually another piece of, this is one of the three things of doing love differently, is cozying up to conflict. So we're so conflict avoidant. We want to do anything we can to make everything be okay. You know what it's like to do that thing of, like, in your head, you're in a loop of what do I need to do or say to make everything be okay. So I want to help move you out of that. I want to help move you into the space where you know that relationship is a container that can hold the truth of who you are and the truth of who I am. And that it's okay to have a difference. So it might be that there's a boundary that needs to be set with your family around how you choose to show up and what you will accept and tolerate with them and what you will not. So Kelly, I love that you're asking this question. It's one of my most favorite. What if they all say that you're selfish? So I am on a mission. I'm on a mission to reclaim selfish. Because here's the thing. We've been abandoning ourselves far too long for the sake of someone else. And when we're in self-abandonment, that's when we're in the people-pleasing, that's when we're in the knee-jerk yes, that's when we're in the looking for external validation, we're asking for permission. Selfish is the antidote to self-abandonment. So here's the thing, every quality, like selfish, has both a positive and negative charge to it. So it's about finding the gift in selfish. It's about actually claiming I am selfish. And what that means is I'm here to take care of myself first. It's like the age-old thing of the oxygen mask, put it on yourself first so that you can take care of everyone else. But here's the thing, you have to take care of yourself first, otherwise you're an empty well. So I would actually say, Kelly, your practice is really stepping into I am selfish. I am selfish. And here's how my selfishness serves me. Here's how my selfishness supports me. Here's how my selfishness is healthy. And start stepping into that. Yeah. So the other thing I want to mention here, I just want to scan this quickly. Yeah, self-abandonment, bye-bye. I love that. I love that. So, Ornella, how about this, Nancy? I have a few people in my life that are only okay with me when I'm bitchy, but if I'm nice, they ignore or can't be bothered with me. What that has been like that for years now, but now I have separated myself from it and it feels better. Great. You answered your own question. Any relationship that doesn't feel good, to me is a signal that something's out of whack, essentially. And if it's out of whack with you and an external person, it means it's out of whack with you and you first. And again, recognizing how much we're driven by avoiding conflict. Recognizing how much we're driven by avoiding conflict. Because when that's the driver, we twist ourselves into a pretzel. We put our worthiness and value in someone else's hands. We let someone else determine our value. And Julie's saying here, selfish, that still makes my stomach twist. I hear you, and I'm going to give you the exercise too. The exercise is simply, I am selfish. And being able to say it, get it to the place where you can say it, and you don't feel like you're going to break out into hives. Because we all know what it's like, because really selfish is a trigger for you. For anyone who can't say, I am selfish, it means selfish is a trigger for you. So if selfish is a trigger for you, you want to practice embracing it and reclaiming it so that you're not drawing people toward you who you're pointing a finger at saying, you're so selfish. Okay? So the third piece here, so really we've got, in terms of the 3 ways to do love different, fall deeply in love without losing yourself, and it begins with loving yourself first. You have to fall deeply in love with you so that you're anchored in you, so that when you're in a relationship, even if you're currently in one, you make the conscious choice to not lose yourself, to not let yourself go, to let your connection with yourself go. That's what I mean, that you're not going to do that. The second one is cozy up to conflict and still stay connected. So even in conflict, you can stay connected. Even when there's a difference, even when there's a different disagreement, you can stay in connection. And actually, it's really important to remember that it's not all black or white. You know, we often start thinking that if there's a disagreement or if there's a difference, that it means all hell's going to break loose. And we go to, oh my God, we had a disagreement, we had a fight, we have a difference, we're going to break up, let's say. And then that's what starts getting us into the place of, I better do whatever it takes to make everything be okay. I'm actually going to come from the place of, it's not your place to fix everything. It's not your place to take more responsibility than what's yours. So we are each 100% responsible for 50% of every relationship. So we can step in and take ownership of what's ours. But we also want to be with someone who's going to step in and take ownership of theirs. So Kelly, what if the people actually do run or break up at a little bit of conflict? Then what that tells you is that relationship container didn't hold the truth of you, that didn't hold the truth of who you are and the truth of who they are. And you have to remember that in every relationship, everything that you're coming in with, your fears, your beliefs, your stories, your history, all of that, another person is coming in with all of theirs. So in many ways, what's happening in relationship isn't even personal. I really want you to get that. What's happening in relationship isn't always personal. There's a great expression. When we're hysterical, it's historical. So when there is that, when there is that, what might seem like an unprecipitated outburst, or something that seems when like when the punishment doesn't fit the crime, so to speak, it's often because something from the past is what's coming in. Something from the past is what's getting reactivated here. Yes. Ornella, I always look at myself when certain relationships are weird and I say, okay, what can I do to make this better? But sometimes you have to leave it for a while or forever. And you know what? That's actually true. That's actually true. And part of it is being willing to let go. Part of it is about being willing to let go. It is. So the other piece here is have healthy boundaries and honest communication. This is the third way to do love different. Because most people are not taught to have healthy boundaries. Most people, because of the fear of conflict, don't want to set boundaries because we think setting boundaries means something that it doesn't, first of all. So again, kind of looping back on the conversation we just had around selfish, we think boundaries makes us mean, or we think boundaries makes us selfish. And the truth is, sometimes boundaries need to be enforced, and they don't need to be enforced in a mean way. They can be enforced with grace and love. But what I want you to know is that the biggest myth around boundaries is that the other person is crossing your boundary. And what I want you to know is that you are the only person who can cross your own boundary. And I just want you to let that land for a minute. When your boundaries are crossed, you are crossing them. So here's the secret to boundary setting. When you set a boundary, it's not up to the other person to honor it or respect it. It's up to you to hold it. It's up to you to enforce it. I can see here in the comments that this is kind of like, what are you talking about? I'm telling you the truth because I see it time and time again. Thousands of clients I have coached, and I hear it over and over again. I tried to set a boundary, but he or she just kept doing the thing. Here's the thing. They will keep doing it. They will keep doing it. So that's why I'm saying it's not up to anyone else to respect or honor our boundaries. It's only up to us. I think that's what I was saying, Shweta, when you said, can I repeat the last couple lines? So it is keeping your boundaries on repeat. And so I talk about having a company line. And when we're, that we just keep coming back to. So a couple of things I want to go into around this. When we're setting boundaries, we want to come from the I. It's not pointing a finger and blaming and saying you. It can sound something like, I notice that I feel uncomfortable when you have more than 2 drinks at dinner. So I'm simply letting you know that if you choose to do that in the future, in order to take care of myself, I'm going to leave the restaurant. And then you have to be willing to leave the restaurant. That's an example of how you respect your own boundaries. he or she has a choice around having more than 2 drinks or not. But you know that you've got your back. You know that no matter what, you're going to honor yourself and take care of yourself. So it's really important to stay in the I. It's really important to stay in the I. So it's not about blaming. It's not even about making anyone else wrong. Boundaries are simply our limits around what we will or will not do, will or will not accept, and will or will not tolerate. So it's really important that we get clear on our boundaries, and it's really important that we get clear on the non-negotiables there. Because when our boundaries are crossed, it means we've been enabling someone else's bad behavior to activate us. So I really want you to get that. The boundary piece is critical. The boundary piece is critical. And the direct communication is critical. Now, depending on who the person is and what kind of person you're involved with, you can invoke asking, are you available for this? Are you willing and available for what I'm sharing with you? However, there are certain instances and certain people that it's not necessarily safe to do that with. And that's a discerning piece. So you're asking, Kelly, what's the best way to learn and practice boundaries? Boundaries is a big part of my new relationship blueprint coaching program, which is launching in a couple of weeks. So you'll be hearing more about that very soon. It's a mega part of my coaching programs. And even just here, starting to learn with the no, what I've been sharing with you around, saying no instead of the knee-jerk yes, that's a boundary. Also around the no, that no is a complete sentence. You don't need to give an excuse or a reason or a song and a dance around why you're saying no. So that's a beginning piece around boundaries. And then the practice of boundaries is recognizing in yourself your discomfort when it's in relation to another person and letting the other person know. Like I just said with the example about the drinking. I notice I feel uncomfortable. I notice I feel X when you do or say Y. Or when you do or say Y, I feel X. But it's noticing here's how I feel. So in order to take care of myself moving forward, in order to honor myself, here's what I'm going to do to take care of myself. But then you have to do the thing. Otherwise, you're the little girl who cried wolf. And that's something really important to know. Do not set a boundary unless you're willing to uphold it. Because again, they're not going to. They never will. It's up to you. Yep. Marty's saying a boundary violation just happened. The phone rang during our session. I picked it up and said, can I call you back later? And so saying, I will call you back later. I caught myself thanks to what you said a little while ago about not asking for permission. I love that. That's fantastic. That's great. Ornella, we can't waver when we make that decision. It can't just be, okay, sometimes the boundaries are boundaries. That's where it gets tricky. Exactly. It's that it's very crystal clear. It's very crystal clear. And Shweta, what if the other person shuts down and is not willing to open up and communicate? Yep. It may be the case, and they may need some time. And that might be, we process really differently. I often say that I'm a microwave and my boyfriend's a crock pot. We process differently. And sometimes one person might need more time before they're willing to open up and communicate. And if it's across the board, not willing to communicate, not willing to open up, that's a bigger piece in the relationship that you've likely been living with for a long time. Kelly, do you say sorry when you say no? I do not. I do not apologize for my no. Mm-mm. I don't say no. I simply say I'm not available for that. Some version of that, but I don't say I'm sorry, and I don't make up a story, and I don't give a reason or an excuse at all. Ornella, no is a complete sentence. I love that. I said that to my kids as they were growing up. Right on. Absolutely. It's not, so Kelly, so this is, how do you show empathy when you're saying no? This question has me imagine that you're more concerned about the other person than yourself. If the gut feeling is to say sorry or show empathy, then you're more concerned with the way that they receive you than you are with you doing what's right for you. And the whole reframe here is about you doing what's in your own best interest. You doing what's in your own best interest. It doesn't mean that you have to be mean about it or a bitch about it, or how, whatever story you're making up about setting the boundary or about saying no. It simply means I'm choosing me over you. And here's the thing, you've been taking the hit for far too long because you've been choosing someone else over you up till now. And so you have not been showing empathy to you all this time. And yet you want to be concerned about how you can show empathy to someone else. I really want you to think about that, because up until now, saying yes isn't kind to you. But now you're more concerned about someone's response to your no. Just let that sit. Yeah. Yeah. Leilani, what about energy? Are we always attracting the relationship we need to heal a core wound? I would say yes. I would say that that we will be with someone where our core wounds are really a match made in heaven, and that every relationship is an opportunity for us to love ourselves more. Relationship is not meant to save us, it's meant to grow us. And relationship is a spiritual practice. Being in relationship is a spiritual practice. And so I will often say that I believe that we heal on a spiral. And so as we start healing in relationship, it's like a video game. What do you win when you win a video game? You win the advanced level of the video game. So we're going to keep healing on that spiral. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just checking in. Okay, good. Okay, beautiful. Julie's saying my whole life has been a spiral. Yes. Ornella, I just had okay. Yep. Great. Okay. So again, just to repeat that the 3 ways I'm telling you that are available to you for doing love different so you can have a relationship reboot, even, I would say either if you're single and looking for the next relationship, or if you're in a relationship currently. I always like to quote Marion Woodman, the great Jungian analyst and scholar and beautiful writer who just passed away last year. She talked about being married to the same man for several decades, and yet she would say we had several marriages inside this marriage. So I want you to think about that too. So if you're in a relationship and you're thinking, how can I do this different even if I'm in a relationship right now? This is the answer. This is the answer. You can choose to have the next version. Hi there, Lisa Bailey. You are showing your partner how to create their healthy boundaries by adhering to yours. It's balance. Right, Teresa, I can take that with me in my next relationship. Yeah. So the way you can initiate change in the dynamic in your relationships is to be a model for what works for you. So like I said at the beginning, it's counterintuitive to be thinking that if you do what's best for you, it's best for everyone. It is. And Ornella, yes, it is a choice. And you know, it always comes down to choice. It always, always comes down to choice. You always have a choice, and you're always either choosing something that sabotages you or serves you. So I want you to take a moment here, and I want you to think, right, Kelly, I forgot that I had choices for me. Exactly. So I want you just to take a moment here. Right, I think we tend to forget that we have a choice. Exactly. I want you to just take a moment here and just connect with a no that you're willing to say, or even a small boundary that you're willing to set in your life right now. Something that comes up. Don't make it too big. Don't make it something that's too dysregulating for your system. But just connect, if you can connect with a no, with something that you're a no to. And just see if you can connect there. And remember that you want to avoid that knee-jerk yes, so that the next time that a request is made of you, that you can either say no, or you can say you're going to take some time. Kelly, I had to decide to go see my doctor or go to Florida to see my dad who is sick. I chose to stay in town and go to the doctor because I want to get better. So that was a no to your dad, I'm imagining. Okay. So just connect to a no, and then even take a moment here to connect to a boundary in your life that you would set if you were ready to set a boundary. I'm not even going to hold you to setting a boundary, but I want you just to first connect with, if you were ready to set a certain boundary with someone in your life, what would that boundary be? If you were ready to set a boundary in your life with someone else, what would that boundary be? Remembering that you have to be the one to uphold the boundary. It might be with your mother. It might be with your sister. It might be with a friend. It might be with a coworker. It might be with a partner. But just notice. So Kelly, not sure how to set a boundary for respect. People should know how to do that. We can't control what people do or don't do. We can't control what people should know how to do. So it's simply, I notice that when you speak to me this way, I feel disrespected. So if conversations like this continue, in order to honor myself, I'm going to hang up. I'm going to leave the room. That's what it sounds like about respect. I feel disrespected. So in order to take care of myself, here's what I'm going to do. Okay. So just connect, and I see you guys are writing them in here. That's awesome. Yep. Good. I'm glad that was helpful, Kelly. Good. Yep. Ornella, oh, Nancy, after almost 27 years of marriage and still raising 3 kids, I'm ready for many no's. Don't get me wrong, I'm still me, so I'm not hurting anyone, and my family are telling me they're ready for my no's. What does that tell you? I feel blessed, but I have to make the change. That's why I'm on here instead of doing things for everyone else. I love it, Ornella. I really hope that you will look into the new Relationship Blueprint coaching program when it comes out. Like I said, it's going to come out in a couple weeks, and I think it would absolutely support you in this. You got goosebumps. Yay. Goosebumps are good. Kelly, I hope that I can afford it. Okay, I hope so too. All right. So, oh, Ornella, you're so sweet. I love you too. So I want you to, again, check in with this boundary that you would set if you were willing to. And then just take a moment and close your eyes. Take a moment and close your eyes. And just take a deep breath. If I was willing to set this boundary, what would become possible for me? What would I feel? What would open up for me? What are the visceral sensations I begin to feel in the prospect of setting this boundary? What are the feelings that come alive in setting this boundary? It might be freedom. It might be calm and peace, expansion. What are the feelings that open up for you on the other side of setting this boundary? Empowerment, respect for self, beautiful. And then the next thing I want you to do is check in with yourself about what is one specific action you're willing to take this week to cultivate this feeling without waiting. So not waiting even until you set this boundary. What is one thing you're willing to do this week to cultivate this feeling that you would feel on the other side of setting your boundary? So for me, like I said, it's freedom. For you, you said it's empowerment, respect, self-love, expansion, calm and peace. What is one thing you're willing to do this week to cultivate that feeling? Teaching yoga again, beautiful. Drawing, beautiful. Yeah. Really, to write these 3 points and repeat them daily. Practice the respect boundary setting at school with students. Beautiful. Do mirror work, Natasha. Lisa, talk through this boundary with a safe friend who can support and work through the fear. Beautiful. Leilani, exactly. Have a hard conversation. Yes. Ornella, just what I'm doing here. Make time for my interests. Beautiful. Teresa, continue the mirror work I've been learning too. Beautiful. Action is what locks the new choices in place so that you can have a different outcome. Shweta, mirror work and going to the gym. Beautiful. Beautiful. So I want you, again, like I said at the beginning, coaching is about your commitment to your own evolution and my commitment to hold you accountable to the commitment that you're making to yourself. So the way I can hold you is if you can come join my free Facebook group. I don't think that, I don't know if you're all in there. I know some of you are, but if you're not already in there, I want you to be sure that you join. Rini, can you pop the URL in here? It's transformtogether.us. So transformtogether.us. And that is the way that we can stay connected, and that's the way I can keep holding you accountable. So Rini just popped the URL right there. It's a free Facebook group, and you can join. And there is a beautiful, growing community of like-minded souls. You joined today, Ornella. Fabulous. A beautiful, connected community, engaged, supportive, and I would love for you to be a part of it so that I can keep supporting you in there. So let's see. I just want to come back here and see. Ornella, I'm taping my card class. Oh, you're so cute. You're taping your card class. You can be here. You couldn't do both. I know, because I found out that Hay House's card reading webinar was tonight too. Kelly, I really feel like you've helped a lot and I've had a lot of counseling before, but this really helped a lot. Thank you. Thank you. I'm all for counseling and therapy, but the difference with coaching is that it's about forward movement and taking action. So that's what I'm here to hold you to. I always say that I will be ruthlessly compassionate. So I'll hold your feet to the fire with grace and love. And that's what I love to do for you. So Thank you for tuning in today. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, but I'm really glad. I'm really, really glad that that we were able to keep going. So happy the internet angels froze you, Nancy, so we could all shower you with love. You're so sweet. It's very, very, very true. It's very true. Everything worked out great. Absolutely. You are so very welcome. So stay tuned because you're going to be getting more info about some more upcoming free mini classes and live coaching sessions. And I so appreciate you being here. I love all the interaction. I love being able to connect with you here. Come join the free Facebook group, transformtogether.us, and we'll stay connected in there. Mwah! Bye, everybody.